Ahead on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
On this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, our favorite stories from Purina Mills. How producers use Purina programs to sustain cattle nutrition while keeping their animals healthy and their operations profitable.
And now, a special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. We're featuring some of our favorite stories from Purina Mills and highlighting how their products and programs can benefit your operation. Let's take a look. As every rancher knows, one of the keys to better cattle is better breeding. But even the best bred herd needs sustained nutrition to keep it healthy and profitable. Reporter Matt Fleck looks at how a customized Purina Mills program provides an extra edge for one producer in northern Colorado.
Lee Leachman's family has been in the seed stock business since the 1930s, primarily selling commercial bulls to ranchers across the Rockies and High Plains. One of the things that has kept the operation growing and prospering over the decades, he says, is a focus on science and data, researching and pinpointing the best possible traits in cattle to help out his operations' bottom line.
I think the biggest challenge for our customers is sustainability really is profitability. If people are sustainable, they're going to thrive if they're profitable. If they're not profitable, they're going to go out of business. And more than that, I think many ranchers want to pass their operation on to the next generation. And the next generation wants to receive return on investment. And so how do we do that? We make the genetics better. And that's what we try to do, and that's kind of what our passion is.
Leachman says one of the main issues has always been how to raise high-quality cattle with few natural resources.
You're trying to take the lowest quality land in the region and convert it into beef, okay? If it was good quality land, they would be raising crops on it right now, okay? And so this pasture we're in today is native pasture. The cows come here about the 1st of May, and will stay here until we're able to go to corn stalks in the winter. And then we'll utilize the cheapest feed available in this region, which is corn stalks, basically from the 15th of November to the 15th of March. And so we try to keep these cows on grass throughout the year, and our philosophy has always been, let's try to strategically supplement those cows with supplement that's going to basically complement the forage and maximize their performance on that forage base.
Leachman's operation uses Purina's AccuRation program to supply a continuous and cost-efficient source of the necessary nutrients to his animals while allowing them to stay in pasture.
Basically, these cows are consuming a lot of old grass, and the nutrient level's not quite dense enough to prepare these cows. If we were a commercial operation, we'd be calving later, we'd wait for green grass. But because we're a seed stock operation, we want to calve in February, we want to sell those bulls as yearlings in March. And so as a result, we're calving a little earlier and we're using the AccuRation. It allows us to supplement the cows without bunching them. They're still able to spread out and graze the grass throughout the season. And in addition to that, we have no labor involved in putting out that feed each day, nor fuel consumed to deliver feed out into the pasture.
AccuRation is a self-fed product. Bob Pemberton from Northern Feed and Bean in Lucerne, Colorado, says it helps the entire herd get the nutrition they need.
What you see with a self-feeder is that you get that timid cow to be up there eating just as much as you would the boss cow. The boss cow can leave, that timid cow or bull or whatever can go up there and eat when it so desires, and it'll even out a herd. It'll even out the condition of that herd. It'll take that bossy cow and she'll be in good condition, but it'll take that thinner cow, that more timid cow, and it'll make her look just as good as that boss cow. They'll eat according to what they need, but they'll eat when they can eat too. You just don't have them all up there eating at one time on a self-feeder. You just never see it. They're out spread around, whether it's bulls, cows, heifers, whatever you're trying to develop. And that's where AccuRation and self-feeder come into play.
When we put the self-feeder out, that the cattle limiters in the AccuRation create a snack eating behavior, and what that allows the cattle to do is bring come up and take multiple snacks throughout the day, and that gives us a really consistent rumen environment that'll allow us to get the most most efficient digestion out of our forage base, whether it's pasture, corn stalks, or what have you.
We'll have more from Northern Colorado when we return.
Purina's wind and rain minerals are research tested and field proven to provide balanced mineral nutrition essential for cattle health, growth, and reproduction. They're highly palatable so cattle consume what they need when they need it. And wind and rain minerals special formulation resists the elements so they won't blow out of the feeder and maintain their palatability even if they've been wet. Wind and rain cattle minerals from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
Everything's heating up at your John Deere dealer during the Green Fever sales event. Stop in and get 0% financing for up to 60 months on genuine John Deere compact tractors, utility tractors, and hay tools. So don't miss out. Get to the Green Fever sales event at your John Deere dealer today and grab a hot deal on the quality equipment and reliable performance you deserve. Offer ends January 31st, 2012, subject to approved credit on John Deere Financial Installment Plan. See your participating John Deere dealer for details.
Welcome back. Let's return now to Northern Colorado, where one producer has found a competitive edge from a customized Purina Mills nutrition program.
Kevin Lavelle, the area Purina cattle specialist who works with Leachman, says every producer has specific needs, something Purina takes into account when they fit the AccuRation program to the producer's operation.
So part of that would include possibly taking forage samples from their pasture or from their hay or what have you. But yeah, that's part of the service side of what we do, is to try to get the best fit and match in the program for the particular operator that we're working with.
We're happy with the quality of the product. We're extremely happy with the service that we get from our dealer here in Colorado, and that makes a huge difference, both in their responsiveness to helping us get the right product and also getting that product at a timely basis, and that's really important for us.
Having good products is also important to Leachman, which is why he relies on the Purina name for feeding programs in which he can have confidence for quality, performance, potential.
Just about any product you go buy today makes claims about its efficacy. I think far too few of those products are ever tested. We tend to buy genetics from people that test. We tend to buy animal health products from people that test. We tend to buy feed products from people that test. And that's one of the reasons we like the Purina products, because they have been validated.
Lee Leachman says the AccuRation program has particularly helped his bulls by allowing them to graze more while supporting soundness and longevity.
And then we'll prepare those bulls. Basically, they'll be for sale at 18 to 20 months of age, and they'll only have spent a couple months of their life in confinement. And we've actually taught those bulls how to graze, so when they go to our customers report those bulls hold up really well. They've learned how to graze, they've been hardened, they're older. It really is a really sound product, and I think in the long run that older bull is sounder and more durable and will breed more cows, and as a result our customers have really responded positively to that product. You know, one of the neat things is we ran these bulls on this same pasture or cornstalk conditions. We ran these bulls on cornstalks last year and supplemented them with wet distiller's grains. This year we switched to the AccuRation, and we went from virtually no gain to gaining over a pound a day on that winter pasture or on those corn stalks. And so that's a tremendous advantage to us. That's 100 more pounds we don't have to put on those bulls throughout the rest of the season. That lets them come into the gain test in better condition, go on to grass in better condition, and we did that for basically the same cost. So it was very cost effective.
Kevin Lavelle says he has a lot of respect for what Lee has accomplished on his seed stock operation.
If you listen to Lee consistently, you're going to hear efficiency is his main guiding point, if you will, from all facets of his operation. But in our case, it's particularly on the nutrition side. And as a company, we are really focusing, and we always have focused, but it's becoming more apparent that efficiency is going to be the driving force in the cattle industry to come. So I think between what we do as a company on the nutrition side and what Lee is doing as a bull producer, I think that our commonality in looking at efficiency, it's a nice dovetail together, and I think it helps us work good together.
Reporting from Wellington, Colorado, I'm Matt Fleck for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more information about Purina's products, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Draxxin, clearly cattlemen's #1 choice to fight BRD. Here's why.
Nothing is more depressing in a stalker business as the doctor and you still have your chronics, you still have your death loss. And with Draxxin, we just found out that, especially with microplasts, you just had to be there to see the results.
And the evidence backs up what most cattlemen already know. Draxxin cuts chronics and mortalities by 70%. So talk to your veterinarian and check the online calculator at Draxxin.com. You'll see, nothing gives you more for your money when you're fighting BRD.
Just a great antibiotic.
Very, very effective. Don't let the price tag scare you.
It's a no-brainer. You just use it.
Do not use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older. Do not use in calves to be processed for veal. Draxxin has a pre-slaughter withdrawal time of 18 days. Please visit Draxxin.com or call 1-888-DRAXXIN for more information.
Welcome back. The current historic drought hitting the southern part of the country is causing cattlemen to scramble to find water, feed, and other essentials for their herds. But some ranchers are finding a sustained nutrition program is helping relieve some of the uncertainties brought on by this crisis. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brad Bulla has more from West Texas.
We're one of the oldest registered Angus breeders there are in the country. Certainly not the oldest, but one of them. And this unique environment creates interesting cattle, makes you have very environmental friendly cattle or they won't survive here. And this year certainly been proof of that. We've been a very disciplined breeder. We always just keep what we think is a very top end cattle. Just very disciplined of what we do. Any females that were open are no longer on the premises.
One of the most unique things about Bradley 3 Ranch is that they are a purebred operation that is developed their cattle on range conditions, not in smaller pastures, which is typical to purebred operations east of here. But the cattle are actually out in the pastures, and it's more of a challenge to run a purebred operation in this type of situation because your forage is constantly changing, and so we're typically battling that the quality of the forage and the quantity of the forage and the time of the year. Rainfall is also extremely important to this part of the world because we don't get very much of it.
When it comes to rainfall, the Bradley 3 Ranch, like much of Texas, is finding itself in uncharted territory. The intensity of the drought has caught many ranchers by surprise, even those who endured the drought of the 1950s.
Actually, this is lots worse, because we've had such extreme temperatures to go with it. We actually had 99 days of straight over 100, and that 100 was from 10 to 15, 110 to 115, with a couple of 3 days in there to 122 to 123. 1956 is the driest year in history for Childress County, but we still got 10.5 inches. Today we're into our 10th month and we've had 2.4 inches. And our calves were born and weaned without their backs ever getting wet.
Despite the severe drought, the Bradley's cattle are in good shape. Mary Lou and her husband James have been using Purina's sustained nutrition program for some time, including the AccuRation and Superlix products. And the head start it gave their animals during the good weather is paying off now during the drought.
One of the things that the sustained nutrition program, especially here on the Bradley ranches, is enabling these cattle to be able to consume these products, the Superlix product, in a fashion where we can continue to keep her in good body condition milking for that calf, even in times where we don't have really good forage. And the benefits of that is getting her bred earlier, and that the earlier a calf is born, the heavier it's going to weigh when we wean, even if we have to early wean like we've had this year.
Purina's been a really good partner for a number of years for us, and without that, I know that this year would be almost impossible, because our cows we've had on the Purina Superlicks program. We keep that out 365 days a year. Those cows have stayed in really good body condition, even though we've had no moisture. They've been able to adjust and adapt to forage that's poor quality. We're starting to calve now, and these calves are very vigorous. They're hitting the ground, jumping up, nursing, doing really well, and so we're pleased with the amount of heat stress that the cows went through this summer and the type of forage. That's been really, really good.
Basically, we have more cows that are breeding back in the first 21 days, and the cows are actually lactating more as well. So we're getting a double punch from those cows from a nutritional standpoint, where not only are they breeding back early, but they're lactating more, so we're getting an increase in weaning weights anywhere from 40 to 60 pounds on those calves.
Some of the things that we've done here on the ranch to sustain ourselves through this drought is historically we don't feed much hay on the ranch, but we've had to this year in some different instances with our first calf heifers, and we've also implemented the AccuRation program into our first calf heifer program this year to improve some body score conditions prior to calving, and this program has worked very well for us.
We'll return to Texas for more on plans for getting through the drought right after this. Stay with us.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better throughout the whole year.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
Take the 60-day challenge and save up to $55 on Purina feed. Sign up at purinadifference.com.
Quality matters to me because I'm responsible for the care and preserving the health of cattle every day. Healthy cattle are the key to safe and wholesome beef. As a vet, I work hard to look out for the well-being of the cattle, no matter the time of day, no matter the weather. I'm here for the animals, and my work matters when it comes to the safety of the beef Americans eat. I'm proud of what we'll do here today.
Welcome back. Let's return to reporter Brad Bulla, who's learning how one West Texas operation is coping with the historic drought.
Along with keeping up overall body condition scores, Purina's Superlicks product also helps with cattle management and labor costs.
So with the Sustained Nutrition Program and the Superlicks product, we actually have better forage utilization throughout the pasture. What we've seen is we get better grazing distribution throughout these larger pastures in West Texas, and also we get grazing in areas where cattle normally won't graze on a cube program or a more conventional supplementation program. Basically, this has allowed ranchers to actually, instead of having to go out and feed all day, every day throughout the week, trying to get around to their cattle, this actually allows a guy to go out once a week, put supplement out, and know that those cattle have supplement, again, 24/7, and when the cattle need it, it's there for them to consume.
Liquid feed allows us to put feed out, and we're not having to be with the cows every day, certainly not driving the truck or burning the fuel, so that's reduced our cost. Right now, with an employee sick, the labor issues are a very important issue for us, so it's allowing us to take care of our cattle and not physically be with them every day.
And now we're really sold on this liquid because in this drought, we can make them go to any corner of the ranch we want them to go to because they're going to follow, they'll go where that syrup is.
Even with the weather challenges, the Bradley 3 Ranch is preparing for its annual bull sale in February, confident in the fundamentals of their animals and the genetics they've developed over the years.
We're in the bull selling business, and we believe very strongly that if we're going to sell bulls, we ought to be using those same bulls ourselves in that program. We need to make sure they can cover the country. Our pastures are two-section pastures. Some of them are very steep, rocky, rough, brushy kinds of pastures. Those bulls need to be able to hold up in those conditions. And if we're going to be selling those kinds of bulls, we ought to be making sure that they can do and survive in those same conditions. And so we expect a lot of our bulls.
We've got to develop the genetics that will shine whether we have good conditions or bad conditions. And we have the abilities here on the ranch to verify that in our efficient cows that can convert, and the longevity of our cattle herd that can stay with us for years, and the fertility and the reproduction and the muscling, the conversion, the relative feed intake. These are all factors that make the survival when times are tough much easier.
You know, the deal with Purina is it just helps you on the bottom line. If you can get for the feed intake, if you can move your breed up, that's real money. And I mean, I've been pretty clear with Purina from the beginning. It's about bottom line. Can you make a difference in our bottom line, whether it be saving us fuel, labor, or improved body condition on the cows? That's what it's about, and they've been able to achieve that.
A crisis like a sustained drought can mean lots of sleepless nights for cattlemen and women. But Mary Lou says talking with those in the same situation can help, and talking with her Purina representative has given her some perspective.
They'll come and just sit with you for a little bit and just help you stop for a minute and think and strategize about the nutrition for the cows. And just, you know, sometimes an outsider that can come on the property, help you see the grass for what it is. You want to think it's better than it is. You know, you want to believe that because you know you're in trouble, but sometimes they just come and shoot straight with you, and that's what you need to hear.
We do develop strong relationships, even friendships with these people. And it's been tough this year to see these people going through what they've had to do, the costs that they've had to lay out. And you feel a personal involvement, even though what I go through is nothing like what they're having to go through in this drought. But we become a partner, not just somebody that's on the phone getting the call, how much is feed this week? You know, we're actually trying to, instead of just price feed to them, is we're trying to give them the best bang for their spent dollar to get the most benefit. Because if there's ever a year that we've got to do that the most effective way we can, it's a year like this.
I'm not saying we're not in trouble, but we're sure not in serious trouble. We're going to make it. We'll do okay.
Reporting from Memphis, Texas, I'm Brad Bullitt for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more information about Purina's products, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. We'll be right back.
You're not responsible for the weather, just the cattle. And Rangeland works as hard as you do to deliver performance, production, and profitability. Cattle need consistent nutrition. They'll get it year-round with Rangeland products from Land O'Lakes. Deliver what they need free choice in weather-resistant loose minerals and mineral and protein tubs. Get the most out of your forage. See your Land O'Lakes Co-op for products that will stand up to whatever Mother Nature throws at us. Weather's coming in. Rangeland. Consider it done.
From Iraq and Afghanistan, our brave warriors are coming home. Wounded. Some with wounds you can see, some with wounds you can't see. Wounded Warrior Project was created to support our men and women coming off the battlefield. Please help carry these warriors the rest of the way home. Get involved at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Welcome back. In the southern part of the United States, the drought continues. And this week, we're continuing our series on how Purina's sustained nutrition is helping farmers and ranchers cope. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Sharon Alseth has more from South Texas.
We're a commercial Brangus operation that primarily focuses on seed stock and replacement females. We retain ownership in our Brangus steers through the feed yard, and we rely on a lot of artificial insemination for genetic improvement in our herd.
Brandon says his operation puts a lot of thought and work into their genetics program, and they want to safeguard that investment for the future.
I truly believe that if we can protect the program that we've worked so hard to build, I think that will actually step us up and make our genetics more sought after in the cattle that we raise. I think that our marketing opportunities are going to be really tremendous, and I think with the future in the calf prices and feeder calves, and the fact that we have generated so much effort into the genetics that we put into our cow herd to perform in all levels, I believe we'll be protecting our investment and make our business much better.
Over the years, Brandon has worked with his Purina representative on a long-term plan to aid in his cattle's fertility, reproduction, and growth by using the Purina Sustained Nutrition Program.
Sustained nutrition is something that we've really focused on in the last few years because the fact of the matter is there's really good research out these days that indicates that keeping that cow in a body condition score 5 to 6 on a year-round basis makes a lot of sense, not just from the health and the growth of the calf after it's born, but some of the effects that we're seeing from the fetal programming side of things. If we take better care of that cow during pregnancy, that calf's got a better chance of being healthy and a better chance of growing optimally after it hits the ground. But by the same token, we're also thinking about the cow health and her performance as well. She's in better shape when she has that baby. She's going to get up off the ground faster, the calf's going to nurse quicker, and she's also going to breed back faster when we try to breed her back the next time.
Brandon's use of the Sustained Nutrition Program is paying off in other ways, as his operation and the rest of Texas endure historic drought. During a normal year, the Wolf Point Ranch would get 40 to 45 inches of rainfall.
So far this year, we've gotten around 5 to 7 inches. So we're definitely behind our normal rainfall. The growing conditions have been really tough, and we've also gone through some extreme heat that we're not normally used to dealing with. It's been a really big challenge for us in our cow herds, and have required us to take on different management practices.
It takes a while to really figure out just how bad it is, but the fact of the matter is it's been bad for a while. So taking that into account, you have to make some pretty tough decisions. And really the approach that I've always taken when it comes to drought management is this kind of a 3-step process. Number 1, cull your slackers. Get rid of the cows that really needed to probably go anyway. That's cows with bad bags, bad eyes, bad feet, bad attitudes. The cow that always tears the pins down, it's time for her to go. The other thing you do is you get rid of open cows. It doesn't make sense to feed open cows through a drought. It's too expensive if you're not going to get a return on that investment. The other thing is, if you have to cull further, cull the cows that calve late. Cull the cows that are always kind of at that last end. They're at the tail end of the calving season every time. They're weaning the lightest calves every time, and that just kind of perpetuates itself anyhow.
Chance says operations coping with the drought should also start evaluating the size of their cows. And if forage is a limiting factor, they should consider using Purina's AccuRation Forage Extender program.
It allows for us to substitute the forage they would normally be getting because we're actually adding roughage to our AccuRation product in that particular case. So now we're talking about a program that actually meets the cow requirement like it's supposed to, so we can achieve sustained nutrition, but instead of them getting roughage from the pasture or hay, we can provide some of that roughage from the AccuRation product itself. Like here at Wolf Point, for instance, we're using the AccuRation Forage Extender program, which has worked really well to sustain nutrition on not only its cows, but its growing heifers and those sorts of things where we've got a forage shortage.
One thing that we've really seen with the feeds is our ability to, one, provide a constant plane of nutrition. We've been able to rely on on the intake, on the intake modifiers. We've been able to save labor and we've been able to protect our investment into the growth of the genetics in our herd.
We also have other programs that if you do have some forage stored, whether it's stored pasture or whether it's hay that you've put together through the good years, you can continue to rely on the AccuRation liquid program to get by on that, which again, that's more of a supplementation program to your forage base if you've got the forage to do that. So it kind of just really depends on whether or not you have the forage through the drought. If you do, you can continue supplementation. If you don't, you need to institute substitution with a program like AccuRation Forage Extender.
We'll return to Texas and hear more about Purina's Sustained Nutrition Program after this.
I am an NCBA member.
I am an NCBA member. NCBA is my eyes and ears, and most importantly, my voice, because I can't be on Capitol Hill all the time. But my membership through NCBA has people that are there that know what my concerns are and can inform me when those issues come up that are affecting my day-to-day operations and can take actions on those appropriately.
I'm an NCBA member.
I'm an NCBA member because I believe that this organization is determined to preserve the way of life that those of us growing up in the cattle industry have grown to love.
I am an NCBA member.
I am an NCBA member.
I am an NCBA member.
Join me today.
Welcome back. Let's return to South Texas and reporter Sharon Alseth, who's learning about drought management and Purina's Sustained Nutrition Program.
Along with overall herd management, the Purina programs are also helping Brandon save on labor costs.
We run with fewer employees, so and using the Purina's products with the intake modifiers and sustained nutritions, we feel really confident that whenever we take and put bulk feed out in front of our cattle, that they're just not going to go in and overconsume. Also, I feel really confident that I can hit my targets based on different products that we can use. It's been a major labor savings for us.
If you have a good drought program that relies upon itself from a self-fed standpoint, then what you're really saying there is I can get my cows through this drought without having to get more labor to get these cows through the drought. The other piece of that is whatever self-fed program you institute during a drought needs to be predictable enough that it's going to keep them in a sustained nutrition state.
Both Brandon and Chance say one of the important things to consider during a drought is whether your current management programs make sense for your operation.
And what I mean by that is begin with the end in mind. Don't just start out by saying, well, I'm going to do this program and not really know what the end result's going to be. Any program that you put in place, nutritional program, genetic program, health program, needs to be predictable, that you know what your investment is going to result in, because input costs are too high today to shoot from the hip. So during these drought situations, it even kind of exacerbates that problem of shooting from the hip. You can no longer shoot from the hip. You need to make sure that every decision you make is a good business decision. Do your best to take the emotion out of it and begin with the end in mind.
I don't know if I'm a step ahead of the drought or not, but I do know in the planning that the Purina feeds have made it very easy for me to implement the feeds. I feel real confident in where we're going to go with this. I've been a long-term customer. We know the performance that we get out of the feed, and the availability of good resources right now, high quality and etc. I know that I can provide a high quality form of nutrition to our cattle that will allow us to move in deeper into the drought and hopefully at some point get this drought broke.
Reporting from Port Lavaca, Texas, I'm Sharon Alseth for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more information about Purina's Sustained Nutrition programs, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. We'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee.
When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right. Whether it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots, when you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
Telling the truth and being real and feeding my family a home-cooked meal, that's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
I'm Kevin Ockstrom, host of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. Check us out at cattlemantocattleman.org or on Facebook and Twitter. Welcome back. For several weeks now, we've been visiting operations coping with historic drought conditions. Many ranches are working hard to ride out the drought. Some have succeeded by planning ahead and carefully managing their resources. They've also been keeping their cattle healthy by using products like Purina's Sustained Nutrition Program. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter has more from South Texas.
The Armstrong Ranch was originally established in 1852 with a Spanish land grant, and the operation has always been a continuous cattle operation from day one. Tobin Armstrong helped establish the Santa Gertrudis breed here at the ranch, and he passed away in 2005. I took over in 2007 and worked for Ann Armstrong, his wife, and their 5 children. And we've had the wonderful experiences of having some wonderful dignitaries come and visit. Ann Armstrong was a diplomat to England in the 70s, and just a wonderful lady. And from there, we've grown the operation. We've spread it to be a little more diverse. We've got cow-calf operation with the Santa Gertrudis cows. We also run our own stockers. It's about a 2,000 animal unit ranch, and we've diversified the breeding operation as well. We're now running Charolais bulls and Hereford bulls on the straight girt cows, and trying to produce a more marketable calf, as well as a more genetically balanced calf for our environment.
The Armstrong Ranch takes pride in its history, its management operations, and its ability to maintain cattle across its vast holdings. For several years now, Cody Fry has been working with his Purina representative to make sure those animals remain healthy and productive by using a sustained nutrition program.
Sustained nutrition in a nutshell is keeping that brood cow in a body condition score between 5 and 6 on a year-round basis. The current paradigm in the cow-calf business is to let her kind of slide while she's in that gestational period, when she's not really raising a calf right before she calves, and then bringing her back around. Well, some good research indicates that fetal programming effects have a drastic effect on the fertility of that offspring, as well as their survivability, and as well as their ability to grow when they do hit the ground. So Purina has been doing this for a long time with year-round supplementation programs.
In normal times, the sustained nutrition program we use is basically to complement the grass that we have. We've got mainly native grasses, blue stems, our primary grasses, but we also have a type of grass that's called Gulf Coast cordgrass, which is a very coarse grass that cattle don't prefer unless it's burned. But with the native grasses in this cordgrass, the AccuRation 3210 product that we're using allows us to stretch this grass. We run into many times during the year when the grass is just, the quality is very poor. We get below 4% crude protein, but we have an abundance of it. So the AccuRation product helps extend that grass. We're able to get increased consumption of the grass, and therefore it has definitely improved our body conditions scores of our cows, and we've seen increased weaning weights to also complement that as well.
Cody says the ranch has been through 2 droughts over the past 4 years. This year has brought only about half the expected rainfall, further affecting the quality and quantity of the operation's grass production.
The AccuRation product that we're using has helped stretch what we do have. We've decreased our cow herd size down from about 1,600 cows to now we're about 1,100 cows. We're running fewer stockers. We're also having to move those stockers a lot sooner than what we'd prefer. You know, with all being said, like I said, we've been very blessed with the rains that we've had, and we're going to try to hold on to this base cow herd that we have now and try to take advantage of the improved market conditions in the years to come.
And what we've done at Armstrong Ranch to help get at that is we've put liquid feeders close to watering areas. That way the cows are coming to water, they can also get some supplement while they're at the watering station, and they can go back out and graze these extensive pastures. And because Cody's done a really good job of keeping his stocking rate correct and also done a better job with water distribution, now we're able to touch all these cows on a daily basis, really, with supplement as well. And because of that, we've got better body condition score on a year-round basis, even in a severe drought like we're in today.
The liquid accuration, that's we've used a liquid product from day one with Purina, and the way we're using it is basically we set up feeders close to each of our water holes. Our average pasture size is about 5,000 acres, so the best way for us to that we found to get the consumption that these cows need is to put them close to the water holes. And with that theory in mind, what we've seen is we're getting about a 3/4 of a pound to 1.5 pounds a day consumption on average in the different pastures.
We'll head back to Texas for more on Purina's Sustained Nutrition Program when we return. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Education, networking, opportunity, and fun. That's what you'll find at the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in Nashville, Tennessee. Get your ticket to ride with your fellow cattlemen and women in the country music capital of the world. You'll find cutting-edge education, top-of-the-line technology, and entertainment that can't be beat. Don't miss your ticket to ride to the Cattle Industry Annual Convention and Trade Show in Nashville, Tennessee, February 1st through the 4th, 2012. For more information, visit beefusa.org.
Welcome back. Let's return to reporter Brian Baxter, who's learning more about ways producers can keep their cattle healthy during harsh weather conditions.
Purina's Sustained Nutrition Program has helped Cody Fry bring down his labor costs, reducing the number of people needed to feed the cattle. In spite of significant culling, the ranch is getting about the same number of calves as it produced 4 years ago.
So if that tells you anything right there, I'm tickled pink. We've been able to take a lot of pressure off of the pastures, but not lose any calf production. So very pleased, and the weaning weights have improved by over 50 pounds. It's been a great turnaround for us, and I'm looking forward to the higher markets, hoping that they'll stay high. And you can buy a lot of feed with a high price market, and so I'm very confident that that we're going to do well and just keep pushing these cows to be more selective and pick those cows that are easy doing, and I think we're on the right track.
AccuRation liquid being out on a year-round basis allows that cow again to eat what she needs on a daily basis when she needs it, so that we're not in that overconsumption and underconsumption type area. And because of that, because we keep her in better condition on a year-round basis, that allows that cow never to slip back to a point where she has to make up condition to get back in shape to where she can get bred. See, a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of things that cow's going to take care of from a requirement standpoint before her body tells her it's okay for her to get bred back. It's essentially a matter of survival. That's the way God created cows, and that's the way that God created people. You have to take care of their maintenance requirement, if they're still growing, their growth requirement, their lactation requirement, and then their body tells them it's okay to get bred back. So you have to take care of all those requirements regardless of what your conditions are before she's going to get bred back. And having a supplement out on a year-round basis really helps achieve that.
Dr. Farmer says ranchers should remember that even during a drought, a cow's nutrition requirements remain the same.
What changes is her ability to meet that requirement from the forage base that they did have. So they've got to go at it two different ways. If they run out of grass, they have to start providing more supplemental feed to actually substitute for the grass that used to be there. Or in the case of Armstrong Ranch, they've done a good job of putting a stocking rate in place that really better gets at managing through these droughts that they continually have to work through. And because of that, they have stockpiled forage that a lot of ranchers don't have, so they can continue to use a program like AccuRation Liquid that's actually a supplement to the grass, and it really keeps their cow cost less expensive than having to feed them more to make up for what the grass doesn't give them. The fact of the matter is, if you're not looking at it long term, and if you're not looking at it as drought is no longer the exception, it's the rule, then you don't make those kinds of decisions to cut down on your cow herd to where you have that stockpile grass to where you can use a lower supplementation rate to get through these tough times.
I'm very optimistic the industry will come out of this. The ranchers, they're a totally different set of people than what the rest of the world is made up of, and there's very few of us left, and that's the unfortunate part. Just a great quality of people, very strong-willed, sometimes stubborn, and you know, but we're going to learn a lot from this. I truly believe that all ranchers will learn a lot from this drought, and it makes you smarter. It makes you a better producer. It makes you a lot smarter when it comes to looking at your finances, and it's really made me sharpen my pencil. And you know, you got to take what God gives you, and this is what He's given us right now. And I believe it's going to make me a better manager, and I believe it's going to make all ranchers better managers out of this deal.
Reporting from Armstrong, Texas, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more information about Purina's products, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. The NCBA site also has a list of drought and disaster-related assistance programs available for cattlemen and women across the country. Just go to beefusa.org and search for drought assistance. We'll be right back.
Quality matters to me because I'm responsible for managing the natural resources under my care, providing clean water and healthy feed, and creating an environment that fosters new life. I care for mother cows and newborn calves, nurturing them through the beginning of the life cycle. The entire beef industry is relying on me to provide a quality product they can work with. This is the beginning of the American beef industry. I am proud of what we'll do here today.
I am an NCBA member.
I am an NCBA member.
I'm an NCBA member because NCBA is our voice in Washington.
I'm an NCBA member.
I am an NCBA member because I feel it's important that we have an association such as this in Washington, D.C. to support our cattlemen throughout the country.
I am an NCBA member. Join me today.
We know who made that hitch. We know who cut the steel, who milled the ball, and who welded the seams. We know who tested, measured, and checked. We even know who thought the whole thing up. We're B&W, and we know your hitch. Because we don't make them halfway around the world. We make them all right here. B&W. Trusted.
There are two things you need to know about Sweet Licks. Number one, they offer a complete line of vitamin, mineral, protein, and medicated nutritional supplements. And number two, they're available in a variety of forms and sizes. What you need, how you need it. For your nearest dealer, just pick up your cone and call 1-87-SWEET-LICKS. That's with an X.
Profitability never tasted so sweet.
Whoa. I know you've probably asked yourself, what's Christmas to a cow? You've not? Well, maybe just perchance it got you thinking now. When we march out on Christmas morn like nothing's going on, as Yuletide struck the night before and disappeared by dawn, where plastic sleeves are hanging up around the cabin shed, did visions of protein blocks cavort inside her head? And did she lay awake at night tensed up, anticipating, or in excitement milk her bed by accident while waiting? The cows pretend to be just cows devoid of all intrigues, but really lead a secret life like women's bowling leagues. Did we just miss the mistletoe? Did all the clues elude us? Does she believe in Santa Claus or just Santa Gertrudis? And if we looked, would we see sign of reindeer in the pen? Or would we just convince ourselves the goat got out again? And after we'd all gone to bed, would they join in a hymn and sing that little manger song they learned in Bethlehem? Away in the manger, no crib for a bed, the little Lord Jesus lay down his sweet head. The stars in the sky looked down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep right there in the hay. Well, I guess it don't matter much if cows believe or not. We'll fork her out a flake of hay and head back in a trot to celebrate our Christmas day and all that we espouse. And when we say our dinner grace, we'll thank him for the cows, for the livelihood they give us, and the life we get to share. But do the cows have Christmas cheer? Who knows? But just beware. If you see chicken tracks among the straw and drying chips, you better check suspicious cows for eggnog on their lips. This is Baxter Black from out there.
Thanks, Baxter, for that educational insight. That's it for this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. We'll see you right back here next week on RFD TV.